And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Russell Pierce Live. I'm your host, Ibu of Russell Pierce of Self Made. Better known to many of you guys as Back at Hangman. And as you guys can see, I will not joined today by Rob. Uh, keep Rob in your well wishes, folks, and in your thoughts. He's dealing with a personal situation that I hope everything goes well for. So while Rob is dealing with that, I have Monty running the StreamYard, and I'm joined by Drew Baydala. Andrew Baydala, he's been around in the space for quite some time now, has a couple sources or two, has a couple takes or two. Drew is well respected, and I'm very, very fond of Drew as a content creator, and I'm happy he's joining me here. This is, I believe, his first appearance on Russell Purist, unless I'm mistaken. And so it'll be me and Drew, sorry, me and not Drew, me and Drew, my apologies, rolling with you guys for the next 80, 90 minutes or so. But before we go any further, folks, please make sure to like the video, comment if you haven't, leave us a message, leave us a live chat, send us your super chats because this will be one of those afternoon shows where you guys drive the conversation. So I want to pick your brain on some stuff. I want to hear you guys' opinions on things, some feedback. I've been working the phones as usual the last few weeks. It's been a busy time in pro wrestling. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. I might have some answers for you guys. So feel free to do that. And just keep that in mind because our key topics today are going to be AJ Styles. What's going on with that? I heard some on that. I have some more information on Wardlow and his injury and what's going on there. And beyond that, we're going to just talk pro wrestling. So again, guys, get your super chats in now. We will be going through them shortly. Drew, what's up, man?
Ibu, how are you, my man? First and foremost, I want to say thank you for the very warm welcome and thoughts and prayers to Rob, whatever he's going through. Family-wise, thoughts and prayers. You are one to never stay out of the hot seat, though. I am Andrew or Drew, not Jew, but I love Ibu. So let's get to work, buddy.
So I can't help it. You know what I mean? Even when
I hear you.
Even when I'm trying to just, I'm trying to.
I hear you.
Stay out of trouble.
Yeah, trouble. Guy's a diehard Knicks fan. He's got Tyrese Halliburton on his stuff. I mean,
yeah, it's
a good.
No matter, I try, man. I do my best, man. I'm a good man. I try my best. But we're here, man. We have 181 people live and counting. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the stream. Again, lock in. Send us your super chats. Do what you guys got to do. I'm going to open up right away, Drew.
Yeah.
With AJ Styles.
Okay.
So one of the big talking points coming out of last night's Monday Night Raw was AJ Styles cutting a promo during the commercial break. And I went out of my way to watch this because people were messaging me, hey, man, what's going on here? I watched the promo. And in the promo, he basically says that, Gallows and Anderson are no longer here. And Meat Shin is on SmackDown. And it feels like somebody doesn't want me here. And it's like, oh, man, what's going on here? And this is topical because AJ Styles just was in the news for having a contract that apparently is expiring in February. So the word is reportedly by Fightful that his deal is expiring by February. John Alba put out that prior to his recent extension that he signed, which is a 1-year extension, worth noting, was that AJ was inquiring on the convention circuit about what's out there, and I can confirm that. I heard that at the time. I talked to John about that at the time as well, and AJ was just kind of looking around, surveying the landscape, seeing what's going on, and so he was looking around, and then he ultimately signed a 1-year extension, and he's been doing what he's been doing, and now his deal is going to expire in a year. Now, here's the thing I would like to mention: AJ Styles put out his own hourglass graphic on Instagram. So he clearly isn't shy about his status and has no problem with people knowing what his status is, which is why he put it out. And I don't think it's a coincidence that the same day that he put that out, we got a bunch of reports about his status. This is kind of how the media game works with professional wrestlers. And a lot of times, wrestlers will communicate what they want or what they're trying to achieve through the media, and sometimes they do it to communicate to their own bosses and employers. Ibu,
it's unlike anything that the normal sports world sees, right? Because we all are very privy to when a certain sports star's contract is expiring. Professional wrestling and sports entertainment contracts are not like this. We don't know. They keep it very close to the vest. Tony Khan, Triple H, Nick Khan will all say, yeah, multi-year extensions or a multi-year deal. So this is how, to what Ibu's saying, the wrestlers drive their price up. The boys and girls drive their price up, and they let everybody know, so everybody keeps their name coming out of these quote unquote journalists or anybody else's mouths. All due respect, Sean and John do great work. That's not the shot that I'm taking. The shot that I'm taking is everybody and their mother is now talking about how AJ Styles is a free agent, and that is done purposefully by AJ and his team.
Correct. Yeah. So that's the thing. Like, people sometimes don't understand how this whole thing works, and I can promise you that AJ Styles isn't upset right now that his contract details are out there. If anything, it's strategic and it's by design, whether it's through him or WWE.
Drive that price up, brother.
Absolutely. Now, listen, I'll take you guys back to something interesting that people probably forgot about. AJ came back late last year after a long hiatus. I remember he was having a great year in 2024. Midway through the year, he puts over Cody Rhodes for the second time. He goes to Pro Wrestling Noah. He wrestles Naomichi Marufuji, and then he just disappears for a couple months. And he's not injured. And he's waiting to get back on TV. Like, he was not hurt. He didn't ask for an extended period of time off. He was ready and raring to go to come back to TV. And ultimately, they just didn't use him. Next thing you know, we start getting some reports. AJ Styles, stuff about his contract and things like, details about his contract. We were hearing that he's ready to go. He's healthy. And then next, they announced that AJ Styles is back. And then they do that match with him and Carmelo Hayes that he unfortunately got hurt in. I bring this up to say that was AJ and his camp basically telling WWE, hey, I'm ready to go. What's going on here? I'm not getting a lot of communication. And the unfortunate reality is,
don't forget the TNA appearance. Don't forget that he's going to go work Japan. Don't forget that AJ, was supposed to go to Saudi and didn't. There's a lot of different things that if you read the tea leaves and you put two and two together, they're trying to make AJ happy. And AJ's probably giving them a list of some things that he wants to do or wants to accomplish before this contract is up. And he'd be a fool not to hear what Tony Khan has to say or offer. And I believe we will get to that.
For sure. But what I was also getting at is WWE now is set up in a way where communication between wrestler and office is very, very weird and jagged. And so a lot of times wrestlers will just get their message out to the office through the media. And that's how AJ got back on TV last time. And I'm very much of the belief that this time around, he's just trying to get another deal by WWE. So I spoke to some people within the promotion, and I was able to find out the following. As of right now, AJ Styles has not been offered a new contract by WWE. I can put that out concrete. AJ hasn't been offered a new deal yet. So who knows what that means in terms of WWE's intentions here. But they have not offered him a new deal. With that said, though, I asked about the promo that he cut, and what was intimated to me essentially was AJ wouldn't just go rogue and do that. Like, it's not one of those things where he lost his mind and was doing the Flair on Bischoff thing in '98, where it's
you don't say, Ibu.
Right. Like, now I'm sure most people would be aware of this. I it's just very unlikely that AJ Styles of all people would go on Netflix and basically be like, oh man, just going rogue, fuck these guys, pay me, whatever. He would never do this.
Again, very different worlds. Professional athletes in the NBA, NFL, NHL, MLB can go ahead and do that type of stuff on a podcast or something because maybe they're disgruntled. Professional wrestlers, 9 times out of 10, are not going to do that.
Right. I mean, look, we've seen it throughout the history of the business, especially the further we go back. It's just not a thing that's going to happen now in today's hyper-structured TV environment when it comes to these TV shows. So, yeah, basically, the long and short of it is that was something that people were aware of. This is a planned thing. Does this mean they're going to turn this into an angle of some sort? Probably. Is this going to be an episode of WWE Unreal? Probably. To what end and for what purpose? I don't really know. However, that is what was expressed to me. Essentially, like, AJ's not doing this just out of the, frustration out of the blue. Like that was all by design. And I think the other big giveaway is the fact that WWE posted the promo all over the social media, and then they also posted it on YouTube. If it was something that they didn't want on their show or weren't happy with, you wouldn't get it on social media. Easy example was when Carlito made the Chinese joke at, I believe it was Kyrie and Io, and they immediately just like deleted that off of all subsequent viewings of the show and in the clips on social media. So that's the deal with AJ. This thing is clearly turning into a worked angle of some kind, but at the same time, he has not been offered a new deal. So, what say you, Drew? What are your thoughts on where things are headed with AJ Styles?
I think AJ's a smart businessman. I think his team is smart. I think he's going to, and I hope he gets to see both offers from AEW, where whoever else can offer him. All the offers, the better. But if AJ wants to stay in WWE, so be it. I mean, that's his decision, and whatever money talks and bullshit walks. But I don't know what else he has to accomplish in WWE. And a lot of people used to take the approach of, well, if he goes somewhere else or she goes somewhere else, they're not going to get into WWE Hall of Fame. I think that is passe. I think that's done. I think WWE, if he goes to AEW on a 1 or 2 year deal, he being AJ Styles, obviously playing hypothetical here, he would still be welcomed back into WWE with open arms. And again, I'm of the mindset of what else could AJ do here in WWE that would really motivate me to want to watch AJ Styles in WWE. AJ has had a phenomenal, pun intended, run, but I think at this point, if he can go to AEW and have some great matches here, there, and everywhere, and kind of, get away from the WWE landscape for a little bit, I think it might be best for him. But maybe AJ wants to retire. I don't know.
That's the thing. AJ, it's unclear what his goals are. He's been talking about retirement to people in the business for 5 years. But whether it's maybe just the stars haven't aligned properly, he hasn't been in a marquee enough story to justify it. It's been a thing that he's hesitant to actually pull the trigger on. And now it feels like WWE may be forcing him to make the decision, making the decision for him, and maybe he's just not comfortable with that. Personally speaking,
let's call a spade here.
Yeah.
This is one of Tony Khan's guys that he would want. I mean, you go look at the people he's signed, both men and women.
Yeah. He would go for him.
This is the quintessential Tony Khan hire, and rightfully so. But again, it's all going to depend on what AJ wants to do. Does AJ want to work Fridays or Mondays and, be there for his kids during football season or whatever? Because he is, a family man, seems first now, which I get, traveled the road for many years. But, to the original point too, with all the promo that he did on Raw, talking about other people, I would hate to try and be in the dirt game in 2025 because it is a slippery slope. I feel like everyone's trying to work everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is definitely the case. Wrestlers, look, Ray Phoenix played the game. They all played the game at some point. For me, here's the thing. I spoke to somebody at AEW that made it clear that, like, a lot of people, the reason you don't see them at Collision is because they just don't want to work on Saturdays. So I don't think it would be an issue if it was one of those things where Alan is like, hey, Tony, like, I could do Wednesdays, not Saturdays, or vice versa. Personally speaking, just purely speaking personally, and I'm not in AJ's business, I'm not in his pockets, I'm not in his financials, I don't know what his details are. However, I do think that we've gotten to a point where either you're going to push him hard and give him one last main event run WWE, or just let him go. And he's essentially been embroiled in a program with Dominic Mysterio for 5 months, and it's like, to what end, and what are we going to do next?
And that's right there. Every creative idea that is circulated around AJ has been a run-in on Dominic, or this a small little TNA appearance. Like you could tell that AJ Styles' contract is coming up, and you could also tell, yeah. And I mean, everybody had him pegged for coming into AEW in September, and I just kept telling people that's not a possibility. February and March are going to be very interesting. I would like to see AJ Styles in AEW for the sheer fact of freshness, truthfully.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. What I was getting at is there are a handful of guys I'd like to see AJ Styles wrestle. I'd like to finally see AJ Styles and Kenny Omega. It's a match I've been wanting to watch since 2017. I'd like to see AJ Styles and Kyle Fletcher. I'd like to see AJ Styles versus Will Ospreay. I'd like to see one last match with AJ Styles and Samoa Joe, two pioneers of TNA's X Division. So to me, it's a question of, like, you've done everything there is to do here. Adam Copeland left WWE at the right time because I felt like he did everything there was to do in WWE before he went to AEW. In a slightly similar position, even though I think AJ Styles is a far better wrestler than Adam Copeland, he finds himself in the same spot where it feels like he's beginning to, not beginning, he has plateaued in WWE, and they're happy with positioning him where they're positioning him. And it appears that if it is indeed true that just they have not offered him a deal and they're not going to offer him a deal, it feels like they said, you know what it might be true? It might be Nick Khan going, look, AJ's 47. I'm not giving that guy a 3-year deal for multiple millions of dollars. And they might make the call based on that. And again, it's like they're entitled to make that call, but AJ is entitled to also go, that's cool. I'm not going to just retire though. I'm going to continue my career. So we'll see how this plays out. And again, as a fan, I'd like to see him just involved in something interesting and different rather than just kind of spinning his wheels regardless of wherever he's working.
And to that point, Ibu, which you made a good one, Nick Khan's going to look at this and TKO and Endeavor's going to look at this and they're going to say, what are we going to get in return, residual wise, from giving AJ Styles $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, whatever it's going to cost to keep him here. They're in a different mindset. They are completely different mindset than some other promotions out there. It would not shock me if AJ Styles gets a big money offer from AEW and that weighs on his decision.
Yeah, I remember being told, Drew, that Adam Copeland, who was making about $3 million in WWE a year, and that was a huge deal at the time when he signed it back in 2020. He wanted $4 million on the next one for a year, and Nick Khan essentially was just like, no. And Nick Khan was telling people in wrestling that Adam Copeland was not worth $4 million. It's the thing he was telling people. So I'm purely going off because obviously none of us know Nick Khan. I'm purely going off that mental framework and applying it here to basically come to a logical assumption on what the thinking might be towards AJ Styles. So we'll see. And I'm sure AJ is going to do whatever he can, pull every lever he needs to help his own personal business. But that's the deal on AJ Styles. That's the latest on AJ Styles, folks. Again, no new deal signed, expiration in February. We'll see what happens. The promo yesterday was a work. With that said, let's transition right to our super chats and get right into them. I'm curious what people say and have to say. Folks, coming up, we'll have more on Wardlow. We'll talk about Wardlow, his injury, what was planned for him, how this affects some creative plans, as well as some other additional details. That's coming up shortly. But before then, guys, get your super chats in. Ask any question you'd like to ask. Give us your opinions on what's happening in pro wrestling. What are your thoughts on AEW's 2300 residency? What are your thoughts on some of the big shows coming up? Give us your opinions, give us your takes. I'd love to read them. I'd love to go through them. And again, while you're doing that, let's start with the super chats. Coming up first, Will Chisholm, $2. Is Stephanie Vacquer hurt and WWE's keeping it low? I asked on that and didn't get a straight answer. So I don't know. I hope everything's okay. It is curious that she hasn't really wrestled on television in a long time. So maybe she's nursing a minor injury and they're just trying to keep it low. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not sure. CS 199 is Io Sky Women's Wrestler of the Year. What say you, Andrew?
I'd say as of right now, sure. I think her and Stephanie Vacquer for me. Rhea Ripley's your biggest draw, but I think Stephanie Vacquer has put on the most quote unquote banger matches.
So do you think Mercedes is in this conversation? Because I do, just purely based on like what she's been able to achieve.
I've enjoyed Mercedes' current run. I would say within the last 4 to 5 months. So, and we're in September here. So yeah, I think that it's definitely something you could talk about for sure.
Yeah, to me, if you're asking me who are the women's wrestlers that were like just the best this year, I think Io Sky right now, just ability wise, is the best women's wrestler in the world. Like I truly believe this. With that said, though, WWE have given her all these weird cold spells where she's just inactive and they've parked her, and it's affected like the resume or the output, so to speak. But when she does get busy in there, WrestleMania, Evolution, we've seen what she's able to produce. And so like match for match, big match for big match, I got Io over most women. Mercedes is in the conversation just off volume and impact around the world. Like to me, I really respect her drive to kind of just go everywhere and do a little bit of everything. I just respect that type of thing, and it's very old school. It's very Ric Flair. It's very NWA. Her work doesn't peak as high for me this year compared to some of these other names that I like, EO, for example. Like the actual matches themselves don't peak as high personally, but she's still definitely in the conversation for what she's done. Lyra Valkyria is somebody that I think needs to be talked about in this because she is just an exceptional fucking worker. And she's gotten herself over, Drew, without being like a huge personality or really bombastic, like type of person. Like it's very 1993 Bret Hart to me, where it's like she's just a great technician, and slowly but surely she's gained the respect of wrestling fans by just being a hell of a worker. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Lyra is probably one of the best in the business. And like you said, very reminiscent of a 93 Bret or I'll say a 94 Shawn Michaels, that type of stuff. Like very, very just on the cusp here. And her stock is probably to the moon shortly.
Absolutely. People that I wished were in this conversation were wrestlers like Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander, who I'm really, really big fans of. But,
I was very high on Stat. I thought she had a fantastic match with somebody you named, Mercedes Moné, two of them
last
actually.
Year. Yeah.
And I just, I don't know what happened. I couldn't tell you, but Stat and Mercedes had a fantastic match. I was there for one of them, and
Full Gear, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I was there too. Yeah. Hell of a match. It sucks, man, because I love Chris, and it feels like she's kind of like spun her wheels. And my guy Joe Holbert, who appears on the channel sometimes, he made a good point. He says he feels like to this day, in spite of all the great things that Stat has done in AEW, it feels like maybe they still haven't figured out what the optimal presentation is of her character, and because it always feels like there's like some type of tweak there, and in a way where it's like we're still not totally sure who she is. And I feel like it shouldn't be that way at this point, but it seems like it is. So again, I hope they get going with her in some direction. They've been teasing her with the Death Riders for a number of months now. And I do know that when this angle started, the plan wasn't to put her in the Death Riders. The plan was to have her tagging with Willow Nightingale against Marina Shafir and a partner of hers. And they were going to be the big feud of the tag division when they launched the belts. Now, I don't know how that has evolved or changed. I have not asked in quite some time, but I guess we'll see. So, A Maverick 10 PLN. I don't know what that currency is. Why WWE canceled Stephanie Vaquer and EO segment and Steph Hurt? Again, I'm not sure what's going on with Stephanie Vaquer, and I don't want to speculate, but I did ask because people were asking me.
I believe that's Polish, I think.
Gotcha. I'll check it out afterwards. Gotcha. Yeah, I looked into Stephanie and I just said, "Hey, is everything all right? What's going on with Stephanie?" And it was one of those like, it's that thing they do when it's like vague and they don't want to tell you because it's not my business. And whatever it is, hopefully it's not something that's going to affect the WrestlePalooza match. So we'll see.
Can we confirm that segment was canceled? Like, was it scheduled for the show? Is my question.
The original draft of Raw had a contract signing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know what. Maybe there's some travel issue. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
it's the first match announced for WrestlePalooza, so it would be a bummer to have that match canceled.
I agree. Connor Campbell, $4.99. Did you see, Ibu, that you were referenced on the Pat's show? On Pat's show when Tyrese was on. Was I really? Was it McAfee?
Did they name Ibu by name? Like, was it Ibu?
I feel like if I was
Triple H was on that, so he might have been like, "Yeah, that idiot you do shows with." I'm only kidding. But I mean,
no, maybe it might be like that fucking jack off you did the fucking show with.
Triple H is very, very like. I mean, he took a shot at everybody today. Triple H did. He said, you got people talking about doing their own shows about the dirt in the business, and then people are mad about us doing Unreal. And I was just like, "Ooh, boy, all right, homeboy."
Yeah. It's just really, really strange because not strange actually. It's very by design and it's typical Hunter. He took a shot at Fightful last year, in PW Insider.
But if you're talking about you on Pat McAfee, I don't care if it's direct or indirect. That's awesome. Run with that.
Connor Campbell said they referenced when Tyrese said he's a WWE fan, not a pro wrestling fan. Yeah, that was on my show. So there you go. I have some spiteful on record quote from an AEW talent that wanted this on record. So today, Rusev said that he's in WWE partially to help the young guys. And immediately, a wrestler from AEW wanted this on record straight up and said that Rusev, then known as Miro, outright refused to put over Will Hobbs and Wardlow. So there you go.
Yikes.
Not my fight.
How does I don't understand how wrestlers get this much power. I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I feel like if there's an idea or a result that a booker really believes in, you should just do it if you work for the company, right? It's one thing if you're a main event guy and you have some level of control and understanding of what you do and you draw money. It's nothing if you're just like one of the guys, you know. And mind you, I love Miro /
Sure,
Rusev.
if you're the world champion and they're asking you to lose to Johnny Thundersticks, I get it. But I mean,
Yeah.
I understand cash and creative. I get it. But at this point, I mean, Miro was involved in next to nothing. So I don't know. That's
Yeah,
tough.
and in AEW, typically what would happen, folks, is if someone starts to disappear from television, and this is typically also this is with the men usually. Sometimes it's because they're being very complicated about their finishes and things like that. Um, and that was very very commonplace with a number of the wrestlers that Tony moved on from this year. And to me, it's just like, again, I don't understand this, and this is not an AEW exclusive issue. You know, now the big talk is about the Hurt Syndicate and how they deal with things in the back. But it's not an AEW exclusive issue. Drew, I spoke about this last year around Survivor Series season. Somebody warned me. They said, "Bro, it's gonna get nasty in Mania season." I'm like, "What do you mean?" Like, listen, the politicking right now in WWE is getting out of control. That's what I was told. And what it ended up being was a number of top guys jockeying for Mania spots. And that's understandable. However, it turned into like a lot of like undercutting, brothering, backstabbing, guys putting themselves in the right spot. And what resulted out of this behavior from the main event wrestlers in WWE is the most chaotic WrestleMania build that I had seen in real time in a long time, because it felt like the card itself was changing every single week, and it made the TV extremely, extremely disorienting. And this is not exclusive to a Roman Reigns. It's Roman Reigns. It's Seth Rollins. It's Sami Zayn. It's this guy. It's that guy. It's Gunther. It's whoever. Again, it extended to a lot of people. Becky Lynch was being very tricky about picking her spot when it came to coming back. It was known that she was going to do a program with Lyra, but she's kind of waiting and watching to see how things were playing out to slot where she was going to come back. They wanted her to come back in January, then it got delayed, so on and so forth. Anyway, I say all this to say the politics in wrestling is fucking insane, and I don't know how you feel about it, Drew, but like it's just insane. To this day, Roman Reigns is trying to make it very clear to whoever the fuck is paying attention. Cody Rhodes is beneath me. I don't know what the fuck y'all think. I don't care what belt he holds. I'm still the top guy in his company. And
That's by design. That's by design, Ibu. I think that Cody and Roman need to be on complete separate shows, because I believe that Triple H wants Cody to be, and is continuing to be, WWE TKO. They want him to be the actual face. And every time Roman shows up, he is the face. I love Cody Rhodes, does really good work, and is probably the closest thing that we're actually going to get to the next John Cena in WWE. But this is all by design. Roman is probably very unhappy with what I'm saying, very unhappy in terms of how they're trying to transition into Cody being, quote unquote, the man, because they're already there.
yes.
And Roman is going to probably win the World Heavyweight Championship, and he's going to basically say, okay, you think this guy's the guy? Let's see you prove it. Well, I don't think he's it. And that's where I feel they're at.
What makes it deeply fascinating, Andrew, is what you guys are witnessing is the game within the game. It's the type of thing you haven't seen since like Nitro on like 97, 98. When you get to a certain level, the level that Roman Reigns is on, the level that Hulk Hogan was at 30 years ago, there's a game within the game. And what I mean by that is you can watch what's happening on the screen, but sometimes there are little things being done to put yourself in certain positions. That probably sounds like vague mumbo jumbo to you guys, but I'll put it to you this way. Cody Rhodes is a Paul Levesque, Nick Khan, Bruce Pritchard guy. Bruce loves Cody Rhodes. He personally recruited Cody with Vince McMahon. Paul Levesque loves Cody Rhodes. He believes in Cody Rhodes. And Andrew, he wanted Cody to go over at WrestleMania 39. That was his pick to win that match.
Of course.
Cody beats Roman, wins the title, finishes the story. That was his choice. That's what he preferred. That's what he wanted. There were lunchboxes made of Cody as a champion back in 2023. I don't know if that's ever been publicly known. That was made. Do you want to know why Cody Rhodes didn't beat Roman? Because Roman Reigns felt that it wasn't the time to do that.
Vince McMahon, Paul Heyman, and Roman Reigns. Michael Hayes.
There are camps.
Yeah.
There are camps. There are factions. You ask Paul Heyman, Cody can take a fucking hike with that opinion. Roman Reigns is going to go over, and we're going to drag this shit till next year. That's Paul Heyman.
I thought it was the right call, man. I really did.
Yeah, no, this is not me saying they were wrong or this is bad. I'm just presenting the information. People can feel however they want.
Sure.
But like Paul Heyman was very much this. No, he's going to chase again. We have more stuff to do with Roman as the champion. Roman Reigns, very much. I don't think it's the right time. And he's saying this knowing what he wanted to do with the Usos, with the split of the Usos, and then working Jey Uso in the summer. So a lot of that was already in motion and in his head. Now, fast forward, right? It's a WWE where Paul Levesque has set it up to be Cody's company. He's very much framed Roman Reigns as the part-time guy, and that's why, chat, if you're listening, Roman Reigns is doing a couple subtle things. In interviews, he's making it clear to people like, hey, I'm doing movies, but I'm going to be the first guy to properly balance movies and wrestling. And he's making it clear on television, I want the championship again. Why are all these things happening? It's because Roman has made the call, chat. I found this out a couple months ago. He has made the call, chat, that he wants to win the world title again. Roman Reigns is on Netflix because Netflix asked for Roman Reigns. So there you go. Roman Reigns is on Netflix because Netflix asked for Roman Reigns. And right now in WWE, it's pretty much implicitly understood. Cody is on his show, Roman's on the other show. So do with that what you must. But the other thing I was told, Drew, that was really fascinating was I inquired about a third match with Roman and Cody because there was talk about it happening around Bad Blood season last year.
Anytime soon.
Last year, Bad Blood season. I'm like, hey, man, what's going on? There's some talk about this. There was some scuttlebutt about it happening either at the end of the year or the beginning of this year. Didn't happen. I checked back. You know what I got told, Drew? There are people in WWE that think it will never happen.
Oh, it'll happen again, but I will bet, everything I have. I probably shouldn't say that. It's at like a 99% that I do not believe that Roman and Cody will have a match that everybody wants to see at this year's WrestleMania. That's not happening.
It's the big holdup. So WWE are very much, they want to frame this third one as whose era is this? Like this whole period that we're in of WWE, they want to frame it as Cody or Roman, whose company has it been this whole time? And for both guys, because they take this shit that seriously, they don't want to lose and essentially tell the public, all right, it is his company, and vice versa. And as silly as that might sound to some people, that's how they feel. And so
another thing that a lot of people aren't picking up on, which is crazy to me, like the subtle hints, the subtle things. Cody declares himself QB1, okay? And yes. Roman comes back as OTC1.
Yes.
You got to use your eyes and ears. Mm-hmm. They will tell you everything because Roman's a dog. OTC1 sucks. There's just no point to it. And the fans, they love it, whatever. I don't get it. You're the original tribal chief 1. The original is 1, isn't it? So for me, I was just like, man, this doesn't make any sense. But to your point, and I've said this a million times, there's attractions in wrestling and then there's stars. Roman is an attraction. There's no doubt about it. And Punk's an attraction. He is an attraction now. And the turmoil from within is going to spill over, and it's starting to, but these two will not lock up, in my opinion, in a singles match until the earliest WrestleMania 43, and that might be the last time.
Yeah, I honestly believe we're not close to it. Again, when I spoke to people, Drew, the feeling was like these people just were like, they're like, this is just not happening anytime soon. Again, I think Roman decided, he woke up one day and said, you know what, I want to win the world title. I'm going to fight Seth for it. I'm going to beat him, and then we're going to go from there. So we shall see. We'll see what happens there. But again, it's the game within the game, and it's very much taking place in pro wrestling, and it's not an AEW exclusive thing. And again, last year it led to a very, very, very disjointed WrestleMania build. We'll see going into this next year how it affects things in WWE. But Connor, thank you for the super chat, which we answered like like 20 minutes ago. A Maverick 10 PLN. Why WWE build so poor women title match for WrestlePalooza? That's a question for Paul Levesque, not Andrew Baydala and myself. But again, hopefully everything's okay with Stephanie back here. But
there's also 4 women currently scheduled to be on that show on ESPN. And I think you probably get to 6 or 7. So let's pump the brakes. Let's just see what happens. Weekly episodic television. Let it marinate.
Advocate of Enochiism. I like that name. I'm an Enochiism guy. But $2. Do you think WWE is just playing hardball with AJ? I think they prefer to just not have to pay him a 3-year deal for millions of dollars. I think that's my gut feeling.
And let's elaborate a little bit on this, Ibu, because I know the topic has been discussed about all of this stuff and people, WWE hates AEW and all this other stuff in their count. You want to know what WWE hates the most about AEW? Is that Tony Khan's checkbook exists. Yes. That's what it is, because they have to pay the wrestlers fair market value or even higher to keep them. And they don't want that. No. That's why they hate AEW. That's it.
They love to lowball all these fucking people, because you know what other big sports league owned by TKO does that? UFC. UFC lowballs their fighters.
And it's not just WWE. Yeah, it's not every sports organization and team and league would love to do this. They would love to do it, but it's just not the reality. And people want to make this a war. Oh, they don't like them. They're going to counter program their pay-per-views. They don't give a shit about that for the most part. They hate that Tony exists because they have to pay them more than what they want to.
I think WWE want to put AEW in a position where they can't get a TV deal the next time. And if they can't get a TV deal, it affects how they give talent contracts. And again, it allows for WWE to control the market. And when you control the market, you can control the market value of the talent that you pay. And again, it allows them to keep the talent budget down. And then you can start throwing, less money at the wrestlers that you feature. So again, it is a full-scale aggressive attack on AEW. And when you ask yourself why it's happening, Drew kind of touched on a lot of it, which is they are mad that talent can go, hey, I don't like how you guys are treating me. I'm going to go elsewhere. Just bottom line. When there's competition, talent stand for less. It's just that simple. There's so much things that talent have to deal with during the monopoly period of WWE that they wouldn't have if there was another major league game in town paying comparable money.
And think about this for a second, right? To Ibu's point, you have AJ Styles sitting with 2 contracts on his table. WWE says, hey, here's $1.5 million for a year. This is what we believe we could work out. We see some money. You see 1.5, but we'll make money off you and you'll be on television, blah, blah, blah. AJ Styles looks at the AEW contract. Here's $3 million for a year because I'm Tony Khan and I got the money and I don't give a shit. And
he does have the money.
Oh, he has the money. And you're going to be on national television. Yep. It's not like AJ's going to work on, some channel that nobody gets. He's going to be on WBD, and WWE hates that. It's double the price and you're still on national television. So they don't want them on TV.
That's why they're helping TNA. It's a multi-pronged thing that's happening. One, it allows them to go, hey, you can't give us an antitrust lawsuit. We help TNA. But it's also, you boost TNA artificially. You try to get them on television. You program them against AEW. And what you're telling the networks is, look, TNA is not AEW, but look at what they're getting for how much money. Look at how they're performing versus relative to how much you're paying them. And now you want to pay AEW this amount of money when they only do a percentage higher on the demo or this. Like if they frame AEW as competitive to TNA rather than competitive to WWE, immediately you're fucking with their TV deal and their market value.
And the contracts
all this is by design.
Yeah, and the contract values for the wrestlers too. And I'm not talking about the big name wrestlers. I'm talking about some of the wrestlers that maybe are just starting to simmer here and get some notoriety. Oh, wait, I could go to TNA and get paid 150K or 200K and it's under the WWE umbrella and they're on national television, or I can go to AEW. I don't know what I'm going to get. I'll get 300K, but it's not the WWE quote unquote brand. This is all very proactive. And what they're doing is they're trying to make the younger talent decide between, okay, I'm going to get an opportunity on television on WBD with AEW and I'm going to get some pretty good dough, or I could go to TNA and it's WWE's going to be looking at me all the time, quote unquote, and I'll still be on national television. It's a game within the game.
Yeah, and so when you look at it, if you're AEW and Tony Khan, you're dealing with WWE, you're dealing with their media partners, you're dealing with the game that they're playing with TNA, you're dealing with the counter programming, you're dealing with them trying to get exclusivity on certain venues, you're dealing with, frankly, a media that, like, a lot of major outlets are very much in WWE's pocket, either officially or unofficially, and and so it's really, sorry, I lost my mic. It's really a full scale attack, and because of that, in my opinion, like, yes, you shouldn't crash out and, like, make your shows about WWE or like talk, like, don't do that. But you should puff your chest out and not allow yourself to get bullied off the paint. Because once you do that and Nick Khan smells the blood, they're just gonna pick your body apart.
Yeah.
And they're gonna fucking kill you. They're gonna literally just run right through you.
They don't care about what wrestler signs where for the most part. That's just not what Nick Khan cares about in TKO. What they care about is they are cutting every avenue possible for AEW to get another media rights deal from an outside entity, which is not WBD. Look at what Nick Khan and TKO and Endeavor did. They chopped up everything and they have non-competes. They're on every network, every streaming service. Where's AEW going to go?
Have you noticed that? Like, it's not one of those things anymore where it's, okay, you want to watch WWE? We're all with these guys, and it's all on this service. No, now they've spread themselves across so many fucking different platforms. And again, it's so that if Tony's looking for other suitors for maybe Ring of Honor or whatever, it's like, nope, sorry, we work with WWE. And again, so it's like a fucking crazy maze, death maze, like that the guy is in. And so, with all of that said, I transition to this. It's been talked about to death for the last week, but I haven't touched on it, and I don't think you have. Tony Khan decided, all right, you know what? I'm going to just get my pay-per-view buys. Fuck it. And he moved AEW All Out to the afternoon. He said, I'm not going to go head-to-head with ESPN. I'm going to move a couple hours up and secure my pay-per-view buys and go from there. Drew, in your opinion, was this the right choice?
So I think this is twofold. Short term, yes. Long term, no. Short term, yes, because I understand what he's doing. He being Tony Khan and AEW, they've had success at this time. All In, Forbidden Door was overseas. All In started early because it was going to be a marathon 6-hour show. Fine, whatever. I don't like the precedent this sets, though. So going forward, I hope Tony, he's got his next shows booked out. It seems like WWE is, as of right now, not competing with majority of them or any of them into 2025. But I think it's going to come at him full throttle in 2026 from WWE. And I just hope that he sits back and says, all right, want this? We're going to have it. I have to see where AEW is at. Truthfully, give me some sort of litmus test. I want to know where they're at. Let's go head to head with the big bad wolf, quote unquote, and let's see where we're at. This is not the show to do it with, though, because first show on ESPN, WrestlePalooza stacked to the gills, nostalgia through the wazoo. Not the show to do it with. But if this happens again, Tony, I don't know if you're listening or not. Look, run head to head and see where you guys are at.
My thing is just, I totally understand the people that go, look, man, you don't have to be Bischoff brained. You can just get your buys, get out the way, whatever. I get it. The WWE freight train, whatever. But to me, on some level, I got to be honest, and I didn't tweet this because Twitter is not the place for nuance, Twitter's not the place for these kinds of takes because then it turns into snowballs and other things. But I gotta be honest with you, Drew. In my heart of hearts, I do wish Tony kind of just like put his fists up and fought. And for two reasons. One, like you said, I wanted to at least evaluate and see where they were at. Like I wanted to at least have the sample size of knowing what that looks like, what the bias looks like head to head with a WWE main roster show. I do want to know what that looks like.
Ibo, let me ask you this. Do you really think that AEW's pay-per-view buys were going to be drastically affected by this if they went head to head?
Maybe this is naivety and delusion. I feel like this is an opportunity to rally the most passionate parts of his fan base, the way he did in 2021. This was an opportunity, in my opinion, to go, look, guys, I get it, ESPN, but listen, they're going to have a big bonanza full of celebrities and basketball players and fucking Brock Lesnar. We're going to have a wrestling show. You could watch and he could have been like, you guys could watch the fucking circus. You can enjoy the fucking circus. But I promise you, when it comes to bang for your buck, you're going to get more matches, better matches, and a better show if you watch my shit. Fuck those guys. They can take Snoop Dogg and Tyrese Halliburton and shove them up their ass. And Tyrese is my friend, so I can say this. Watch our show if you want a great wrestling show. And I know some of you guys are wrestling fans who want that. So if you love AEW and you support AEW, fight with us tonight. And I guarantee you, just him showing that level of bravado and passion for his product and machismo, I honestly think it would have gotten more people to go, you know what? I like AEW. I haven't watched it a little bit. But you know what, man? I'm going to check this show out, and I'm actually going to put my money where my mouth is on that and help these guys out. I actually do believe this. And so,
it's hysterical, too. Like, it's almost giving AEW, had they had done this, gone head-to-head with WrestlePalooza, and it's hysterical because it's like almost like the little engine that could, and they're not the little engine. They have so much money. They're not the little engine. But what this does is perception is reality.
That's what I'm saying.
You're going to keep coming at us? All right, don't mistake my kindness for weakness. We don't need a war, but and the war is not a war, but if you want to go neck to neck, head to head, whatever terminology you want to use, let's do it. Come watch wrestling.
And I guarantee you, Drew, I've seen the January 6th premiere on Netflix, and I remember how the Fox premiere went. This is going to be the most diluted with celebrities and guest appearance ass fucking show. I promise you. They're going to throw so much extra shit that like wrestling fans don't actually care about on this show. And this would have been a good chance to distinguish yourself and say, hey guys, I know they're showing you the skyline on the other network. I know they're showing you like Sabrina Carpenter ringside and like fucking Snoop Dogg and Stephen A. Smith, and Cam Newton. That's cool. But instead of watching those guys wave to the camera, check this out. We got fucking Bandito versus whoever the fuck, And again, to me, that's a show of strength. That's a show of belief. And again, I get it. Preserve your pay-per-view buys, do the business thing. But to me, you rally your fan base. You make them proud to support AEW, knowing that they're not only supporting a good promotion, they're supporting a promotion that's fighting the fight, fighting the good fight, fighting the fight on behalf, not just of AEW, but of pro wrestling, of fucking pro wrestling. They have the pro wrestling companies on their side. CMLL and Rev Pro and New Japan Pro Wrestling and so on and so forth. If anything, Tony Khan is taking on the hopes and dreams of the industry and fighting the big bad wolf, like you said. And I think there's enough people out there that will believe in that will support that will join in that, And so stepping out the way, okay, I guess you could say it was a smart, pragmatic business decision, maybe even the logical decision. But it's like, where does it end? Because again, that's blood in the water. Nick Khan can go, oh, these guys are bitches. I can do this anytime I fucking want. I'm gonna steamroll through any one of these fucking shows, and they either move out the way or they get fucked.
Yeah,
and so it's up to Tony to be like, man, fuck you, bitch, and fight him back.
Yeah, and I get that. I get it. I totally get it. But again, I understand where Tony's coming from as well. He wants to maybe protect his locker room and his talent because Copeland and Christian are on that against FTR, and it's their first highly promoted match back together against a decorated tag team in FTR, and it's a match a lot of people wanted to see. And if the pay-per-view buys tank because they went head-to-head with WrestlePalooza, maybe he's trying to protect his locker room. I get it. But I listened to Dave Meltzer and some other people, which I normally don't, but it was on my feed, and I heard Dave say, like, this is not the show to go against WWE for. And I hear you, Dave, but at some point, Tony's got to do what's best for the 3 letters and not listen to some of these wrestling pundits and all this other stuff, myself included. Tony does not have to sit back and take everything that we put out on the internet and be like, okay, and I'm sure he doesn't. But at some point in time, you gotta stand up. And I don't need him to stand up and get on a mic and say FWWE, but at this point, just keep where you were. And it's so like childish to say because I hated this growing up. You ever go to a baseball field or a basketball court and they're like, nah, we were here first. And you're like, oh my God, can we just all play? And they're like, nah, we were here first. AW was there first. Why move?
Yes, it was your date. It was your time slot. And again, I just look in 2021. This is a company where Eddie Kingston, being Eddie, is just kind of like, man, fuck these other guys, man. This is where the real shit is at. I remember in the pandemic there was a post show they did on their YouTube where like Taz, JR, and Excalibur were reviewing Dynamite, and Jim Ross randomly just decides to say, probably a little bit inebriated. He was like, DVR NXT. Our shit is better. Our shit is better. And listen, you can argue about whether that's the right business strategy. To me, I think now is the time, while WWE is getting in bed with everyone that they're getting in bed with, to be like, look, man, we just do good wrestling. Do you want to watch that, or do you want to watch, the fucking circus? Again, like it's the opportunity to do that. And again, some people will be put off by that. There'll be the wrestling moderate that goes, not my thing. But then there's gonna be people who go like, fuck yeah, man. Like, show some fucking guts.
Yeah, WWE's always been about the spectacle. And WrestlePalooza is going to be the spectacle of spectacles. That's exactly what it's going to be. Cody's going to be on it. Rhea's going to be on it. You're going to get your good wrestling. You have AJ Lee's return 10 years into the ring in a mixed tag match, which is safe. You're going to get Pat McAfee. You're getting Tyrese Halliburton. You might even get The Rock. You're going to get Stephen A. Smith. The Rock's not going to wrestle, but he'll do his catchphrases and his eyebrows, and he'll tell you to shove it up your ass, and he'll split. And you're getting John and Brock. They're going to open with Cody. They're going to close with John and Brock. It's not rocket science. Maybe they do that the other way around because I said it and they don't like us. Whatever. I don't care. But at the end of the day, WWE has always been about the spectacle. AEW has always been about the wrestling. That's it.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. I wish AEW the best of luck in this. I always, like you said, they're not the little guy, but in this situation, they kind of are. So I root for them. And I hope it doesn't affect their business too much. We'll just see. We'll see how this goes. But I just had to kind of get that off my chest. And on some level, it does like bother me slightly, even though I totally understand why Tony chose to do it the way he did it. But there you go. And with that, we'll go to the next super chat. Go ahead, Drew. You read this one.
I don't know if I think Tony should lose the belt in this. You gotta read. Oh, my bad. Chi-Town Spurs, $10. Thanks for the $10, Chi-Town Spurs. I'm confused though. The Spurs play in San Antonio, and you're from Chicago. I don't know. I think Tony should lose the belt in this all-out four-way, but I believe there needs to be some serious development in the women's division out of it. What would you both like to see happen? Tony's winning this match. What comes of it? Who knows? Mercedes needs another match too to get her to the lengthy reign and break the record of Jade Cargill. So that's why we're getting Mina. It's going to be a great match, whatever. But at the end of the day, Tony needs fresh opponents, and so does Monet. Where they go from there, we'll have to wait and see. I think it's tough to build development out of a four-way, but we'll see.
Four-ways are filler. Point blank period. They're filler.
Tottenham Spurs. I apologize, Chi-Town. Go ahead.
Yeah, four-ways are filler. It was filler at World's End. It's filler at Clash in Paris. It's just getting bodies that exist that you're like, all right, this will buy us some money. That's the bottom line. It's filler. Thekla is the next big project for AEW, and I was told that she's going to get like a big mega push. And by mega push, I mean like fighting for championships. So Tony clearly believes in her. She's probably the next Mariah May in the sense of like just a real project that Tony's super duper invested in personally. So God bless. Hopefully it goes well for her. This is what Chi-Town is touching on here is the growing sentiment among AEW fans that the women, that the reigns of Tony and Mercedes are coming at the expense of the advancement of the other ladies on the show.
And I get that, Ibu, but I mean, like Rio is going to take an L here, and then the next possible opponent is going to be Mina Shirakawa. Fine, that's great. Mm-hmm. Who are they lining up for Monet to win the champion or to lose the championship to?
I mean, you could go with you could go with Willow. You could go with some guys and some girls. To me, I think I don't I don't totally know how I feel about this topic because on one hand, it's like your stars are your stars, But at the other hand, I think it's more about like how they choose to use the division in the sense that if it's not your turn, you're basically just doing these like interchangeable all-star tags. And so the focus needs to be, if anything, is look, if I had this conversation with Tony and he said, look, man, Tony's my star. She's over, she draws, she's just who I'm rolling with right now. I'd be like, man, I respect that. But what I would suggest personally would be like just try to give these other people things to do to where your fans aren't like, oh, they're just doing, they're just running in place. Like, and it's gonna feel that way if they're just doing again interchangeable tags. But it wouldn't feel that way if, not to just, sound like a hack here, but like if you gave some of these other ladies like stories, with a Z, and some of them do kind of have stories, air quotes, but like
Sure.
if you gave some of these women like things of substance that like people can care about, then I think you'd see less of this opinion and sentiment. Because the truth is, non-title, there's value in non-title stories. You just have to tell good ones. You just have to tell good.
I like Alex Windsor to win the TBS championship for Monet in December. That's where I'd like to see. They got 3 months now. Build it. I thought that match on Dynamite was great. Let's do that. Let's have Monet drop the championship to Alex Windsor, and Tony can keep the championship for as long as she stays being as good as she is. But I think to what Ibu's saying, we need to build more with some losses, and that's possible in professional wrestling and sports entertainment. This is not the NFL or the NBA where wins and losses knock you out of a playoff or contention.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Thank you, Chi-Town. We'll see how it goes and we'll see how it plays out, but I don't think either of us expect Toni Storm to lose her championship in the 4-way at All Out. Vernacular, Forward 99. Shout out to AJ. He's talking about AJ Lee. AJ's mental health promo made me emotional, honestly. Don't think the Feds fans believe in therapy, but it was funny that they chanted it. I went out of my way to watch this promo. I saw the clip of it, AJ Lee. My big real takeaway and comment on it is just that I love how she talks. Like, she doesn't have that WWE overproduced like promo cadence, promo style, very gimmicky, pre-planned way of speaking in terms of the things that she says. She wasn't talking in catchphrases. She's just kind of just being a girl and being herself. And I to me, authenticity should be the priority with everybody's promo. Like, there's some people that, they're not big personalities, so people go, oh, they can't promo. It's like, nah, to me, as long as you like are believable in what you're trying to convey, then I think you're a good promo, like legitimately. So like Lyra, for example, I said earlier, like I like when she just kind of like is just like the slightly timid, like wide-eyed girl. Like, that's who she is, so that's fine. And in the case of AJ, she's being herself, and I like seeing that. She spoke about her mental health struggles and all that. That was all well documented. She spoke a lot about that in her press tour, like 7 years ago when she made her book, and she touched on it here, which was cool. And people chanted therapy. And listen, man, it's the modern age. It's 2025. It's okay to talk about these things. And she clearly resonates with a ton of people. Like, the response I've seen to AJ Lee has been crazy. Like, I just like sitting back, scrolling through and seeing that. It's like, man, like she really like meant a lot to a lot of people. And I'm sure talking about things like this is a part of it.
Yeah, and I feel like the more you can be less of a scripted character on air and you can kind of blend more of yourself or all of it, if they give you that reign into your promos, the more relatable you will always be to the fans. So good on her.
Absolutely. Folks, if you haven't liked the video, please like the video. On my screen, it says we're at 17, and we have 378 people watching this live stream, which is awesome. Thank you guys for the support. Let's get those likes up, man. Let's get those likes up. Get this, certainly above 17. It's how I pay my bills, so I appreciate you. Please get those likes up. And Vernacular, thank you for the super chat. Ryan Cicchini, $6.99 Canadian. Think Rusev has a program with Oba to get a main roster ready. I don't think so.
Bring Oba up as soon as possible.
Not reading that name, 199. Percentage of Jericho being in WWE nor AEW in 2026. I'd say you don't think Jericho's going to WWE.
No, he's saying like he's not going to be in either company. That's 0%.
Oh, yeah. No.
If you meant to say or, I mean, I don't know, but it says nor. I'm going to say Jericho's working somewhere in 2026.
No, absolutely. I think that I said, okay, this is not new information. I talked about this already, but the bottom line is he wanted to stay in AEW. They're not going to give him an extension, probably, which is why he's inquired from WWE about their interests and stuff like that. So, I think at some point he's going to come to some type of deal with WWE and come back next year.
I could tell you this. I don't really do dirt, but figured this is my quote unquote debut on Wrestle Purist. So I'll say this. I know that WWE is very interested in bigger name AEW talents that might be coming available, such as Chris Jericho and Britt Baker. Whether or not they end up in WWE remains to be seen. But I know WWE's interested in taking one, if not both of those away from AEW.
It doesn't stop there either, and you're gonna see some names leak out and come out through the wash in the coming weeks and months. So we'll see how things play out. Thank you, GMBM. Advocate of Inoki is in $5. Do you think that expectations are too high for AJ and AEW? Like, he's getting older, and I don't know if he's still interested in 20-minute bangers. Brother, AJ Styles will wrestle as long as you'd like him to, and he's a gamer, man. He's not going to go out there like, oh, man, I'm just tired, guys. No, he's going to go out there and work his fucking ass off. And, so, no, you don't have to worry about that. You really just don't have to worry about that. Also, he's in really good in-ring form right now. If you see this AJ working with the Fletchers and Omegas and Ospreys of the world, you're gonna get great matches. This is like a non-issue.
Yeah, it all depends on what AJ wants to do. Does AJ, because to this question, AJ is going to have to work a completely different style. It's going to have to turn it up in AEW. So we'll see. I mean, I think he's probably more than willing and able to handle that, but we'll see. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. Izzy Berry 94, $2. Any all-out matches you see getting announced? We're cutting it pretty close on setting up an Okada match for this month, to be honest with you. Let's pull up this all-out card. All Out 2025. I know they have the women's four-way. I know Mercedes is working Rio. You know what's funny? There's some people kind of shitting on the card because it doesn't have like the big names. And look, obviously you're gonna take a hit when you don't have Kenny Omega and Ospreay and Swerve Strickland. But even in spite of that, I think they have a pretty hell of a card here. So we got Darby Allin and John Moxley in a coffin match. This will probably be the blow off to the 1 year storyline with the Death Riders and Darby Allin. MJF versus Mark Briscoe in a stipulation to be announced. We have Timeless Tony versus Jamie Hayter, Chris Statlander, and Thekla, four-way for the Women's Championship. Hurt Syndicate, Bobby, Shelton, MVP versus Ricochet and the Gates of Agony. And we have Adam Copeland and Christian Cage versus FTR. To be announced, you're going to get Hangman Page and Kyle Fletcher. I can tell you guys this. That was not the original planned championship match for Hangman Page on this show. It was not the originally planned championship match for Hangman Page. It was going to go in a different direction. I was informed that it was a pivot that they had to make. And simply putting two and two together, this is not directly confirmed or denied by AEW, but simply putting two and two together, as crazy as this may sound to some of you, I think that Hangman Page is going to wrestle Wardlow on this show. I actually think he was going to work Wardlow.
I don't think that sounds crazy at all.
Yeah, I think he was going to work Wardlow. Because based on what I was hearing about some of the things that had to get rearranged with Wardlow and some of the Callis family stuff, I actually believe that that's what they were going to do, which is really fascinating because I don't think that main event's Toronto either way. And so this actually opens the door for either Cope and Cage versus FTR or John Moxley and Darby to close the show. Which is
those are your two logical choices. And it seems to me like this is, I would assume that Copeland, when he was coming and out of WWE, leaving, that he probably wanted to have Christian Cage as his last opponent. Wasn't going to happen. So now this is a make good for that. It's at the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And I believe that Tony is going to give Adam Copeland exactly what he wanted as a send-off in WWE, and it's tagging with Christian Cage in a main event against FTR. Your theory or what you had again for Wardlow is not far-fetched because all Hangman Page has been involved with since he beat MJF at Forbidden Door is the Don Callis family. So it's not far-fetched at all. Yeah.
Would have been interesting to see. It really sucks what happened to Wardlow. I kind of felt I fell off the Wardlow hype train, But with that said, you always want to give a guy a second chance, and he came off like a guy who was ready to kind of like turn his run around, and to see it get drilled by an injury like that really fucking sucks. He tore his pectoral muscle, throwing a lariat at Prince Nana in his return angle. That's a fucking tough break, dude. That's a tough break. And again, it affects Hangman Page's plans, and it also affected Konosuke Takeshita's plans. Takeshita, um, again, he's still going to be leaving the Callis family and turning babyface, but how they go about doing that is probably going to be different.
And the other thing there too is like, again, my mentality always, where are we going after this? Where are we going to be in December with Hangman Page and his reign, et cetera, et cetera? Who is Hangman Page going to take on in October, November?
Yeah. Drew, that's why I think part of the thinking with Wardlow and the Callis family against Hangman is I think they're like, we want to keep throwing bad guys at Adam. I think that's part of it. I think they don't want to jump right to just like babyface matches where the match is just a good match. Like I think they want to continue to have Hangman be the badass cowboy that beats the bad guys and takes on all comers. So I think that was probably the thinking. They're probably going to throw Wardlow at him, and I'm sure at some point they're going to transition to a different guy. But they're going to go with Fletcher now, which again was not their first choice. I don't think they wanted to go straight to a title versus title thing here, because you're going to have to hand Kyle Fletcher a loss while holding the TNT Championship, and that's not optimal. Like no matter what anybody says, no matter how you slice it, that's not optimal or ideal. But we'll see how they book that. I think Kyle Fletcher's an excellent athlete, and he's impressed the fuck out of me, Drew. I don't think, but with that said, I don't think he's the world champ level yet. You know what it kind of feels like? Like when Randy Orton won the belt in 04, it was like, man, this is way too early. And I'm not going to insult Kyle and say he's 04 Randy. I'd say he's 07 Randy, where I don't know if you're watching at the time. He won the belt, Randy did in 07, and they're doing like the Age of Orton shit. And this is right when he starts doing the punt and stuff like that. And like WWE felt that Randy was the guy, and ability-wise, he probably was. But there was still there's still a little bit more left to gain from him, like as a performer and as a character. And I think Kyle's at that part where he's at the finishing touches stages of being a main event guy.
Yeah, I've been watching wrestling since 91. So I saw those 7 stuff. The comparison, again, that's all personal opinion. It's subjective.
For sure.
For me, there's a way to keep Fletcher and Hangman strong in this match, although I don't want to see it. Just because I cringe at where we go from here after this. But MJF could easily cash in that contract. He needs to have a week. He can make it a triple threat. It sounds like we're getting MJF and Mark Briscoe at All Out, but I don't know if that's been announced or made official.
No, it is. It is.
It is? Okay.
What's not official is the stipulation.
Stipulation.
The stipulation is to be announced. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe they could have something. I don't know. It's just, again, I scratch my head because I don't know where you go from here with Hangman. After he beats Fletcher, because he's going to have to, where do you go from there? MJF in October? Okay. Then what?
So that's the tough thing. They're going to have to navigate this period without Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay. Thankfully, Swerve is going to be back in October. And I expect his character to go in a new direction, and one that I think would allow for him to maybe work Hangman again. The other question though is, if you're AEW, do you want to jump right to Hangman and Swerve right away in this fast? But again, he's the champion. You want to continue. The priority as a company when you have a champion like Hangman Page, and this is supposed to be his defining run. The first one, it didn't go the way maybe everybody would have hoped it would have. This is the one where you want it to be the defining run. And he had a defining title win. You don't want to let it dissipate and evaporate. So you got to keep focusing on heating up guys to throw at Hangman. That should be the number one priority in all of AEW's creative. So we'll see how they go about that and how MJF plays into that. Because yes, Tony Khan has changed the rules of the cash-in. It's no longer a cash-in like the Money in the Bank. Now it's a 1 week in advance thing. That already affects some.
I think we lost you, Ibu. I don't hear you, but what you were stating was it affects some of the creative process, and you're right. I think I liked what Tony, how he explained it, and how he changed things on the fly with we want to give proper promotion and stuff like that, and I get that. But once this contract was won, I believe that it should have been executed the way it had been previously executed. The new way to do it could have been the new way. I didn't like the back and forth. I thought that was bullshit with Forbidden Door. I thought how, it was this, and then now you don't have to execute your contract and all this other stuff. I thought that was garbage. So I think Tony was trying to make good on that. But in this scenario, I think it would have been pretty, I don't want to say unpredictable, but I think it would have been better storyline if MJF could just cash in and Fletcher doesn't have to take an L and Hangman takes an L, but it's kind of like man, I was blindsided, that type of stuff. So I don't know. We'll see. It's just, there's not a lot of opponents lined up right now for Hangman, but that's why it's weekly episodic television and I'll let it develop. But again, I'm looking to see what they're going to do 3-4 months down the road. If Hangman's still your champion, you're back. Love to hear it.
100%. Drew, that was incredible professional work for you. Just unfazed. Just Ibu dies on the battlefield, and you just kept it rolling. Appreciate that, and good stuff on All Out. So Izzy, that was kind of our feeling on that whole thing. Black Yakuza 94, $5. Very stacked card palooza is. Wish WWE did it every month, but alas. Shout outs to Lyra Valkyria, Unreal Worker. Yeah, folks, your WrestlePalooza card is Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. The Usos versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Stephanie Vaquer versus Io Sky. CM Punk and AJ Lee versus Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. And Brock Lesnar and John Cena. So that is a strong WWE 5-match card. I'm not a fan of the 5-match format, but this is a pretty marquee one. So yeah, you have that. This is a pretty damn marquee one when it comes to star power, interest, name value, buzz, all that type of stuff. And
it's interesting too, Ibu, because a lot of the fans' reactions the past 2 weeks have been, boy, if we can get this creative from WWE and Triple H weekly, we'd have nothing to be upset about or nothing to critique and blah, 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 blah. And I get that, but this has been the MO for WWE for a while. And it happens in AEW too. I understand the quote unquote outrage, I guess, if you want to call it that. Everybody was praising SmackDown and everybody said, I wish SmackDowns are more like this. And I get it. Triple H went on Pat McAfee's show today and said he wasn't even at Raw last night. So he didn't watch the show yet, et cetera, et cetera. So
wait. This happened today. That's interesting.
He was at Kill Tony. So he was not at Monday Night Raw. And it might be tongue in cheek, but he had no idea, or he said, I didn't know that Io Sky and Stephanie Vaquer's contract signing didn't happen. Maybe tongue in cheek, who knows? But I could tell you that Triple H was not at Raw last night.
That is interesting. Yeah, I'm seeing it right. I see. I wasn't on Twitter this whole time. Triple H didn't know that Io Sky and Stephanie's contract signing didn't happen. Well, maybe Stephanie had travel issues and Hunter just wasn't even aware of this. It's very fascinating. It's fascinating. So, but yeah, like I told you guys, that was scheduled to be on the show. Like that was supposed to be on Raw. I think Asuka and Nikki, I think that was like a thing that they threw on to fill time. So there you go. Thank you, Black Yakuza.
Andrew Brown, $5 says for Women's Wrestler of the Year, Kaminati should be talked about.
Saya Kamitani is a really, really talented young wrestler from Stardom. She found herself a couple years ago, and this year she turned heel, and her initial transition as a heel was kind of rough, but she's really found herself, and she's been producing a lot of great work. And again, listen, you know what I would suggest to you, Andrew, and anybody else who's a fan of Stardom, when these types of broad conversations, and you feel like someone that you really, really respect, a lot of people aren't really focusing on, isn't getting a lot of love, it's on you. It's not on you, but like I just encourage you guys to just post and talk about it. Then, sometimes a bigger outlet won't show the love to these types of wrestlers, unfortunately. But I think it's always cool when people go like, well, you guys should be paying attention to this person. And hey, I'll direct you to this match. I'll direct you to this thing that they're doing. And this is why you should kind of keep an eye on them. I've seen a couple sides. Go ahead.
This is why I did a show with Ibu. I am very unfamiliar with her work. So I'm going to defer to you. I probably butchered the name. I've only seen one match of hers. I just looked it up. So I don't know her. So I mean,
She's
for
very
people
good.
asking
She's very good.
people asking my opinion, there's only so much wrestling I can watch, and there's a lot of it. So I apologize.
No, you don't have to apologize, man. It's a big wrestling world out there. There's stuff that I don't keep up with. But, Sai Kamatani is very, very talented. And I think anybody who's a big fan of her should just be really loud and proud about it and tell people what they should be watching and directing them to where they should, the proper channels to access her work and hope that she gets the love that she deserves from big publications. So shout out to her. Shout out to Stardom. Taro Okada has done a good job by all accounts with the creative for Stardom this year. And it's been a comeback year for the promotion. So good for them and good for Saya. Thank you, Andrew. Razor, 1999 euro. Hola, Drew and Ibu. My question is not in relation to asking scoops, but more fan booking. What do you want Mania 42 to look like? Mine is babyface Punk and Cody. Punk's pops this year are getting louder. Seth Roman Reigns. Do I have preferences? I don't. I don't know, man. I just want Jacob Fatu to stop being involved in stuff that sucks. Is my actual answer to this, and I hope he gets elevated properly and back on track. And the same with Braun Breaker. Beyond that, uh, Punk and Cody is a good match, but I think Punk should be a bad guy for it. And I think Punk is actually down to be a bad guy for that. So that's my answer to your question.
Yeah, I'm gonna say like fantasy booking. Give me Seth and Roman for the World Heavyweight Championship in a singles match. And on the other side, I don't know. Like Cody versus, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Cody Randy, that works for me.
We'll see what they do. Thank you, Razor. Was that our last super chat?
Maybe.
No, it was not. We have Mass 199. Nice to see Dragon Lee getting weekly TV now. Well, it's a combination of things. It's the AAA partnership, and it's also the fact that his contract expires in December, and they probably want him to re-sign if that hasn't already been taken care of. Connor Campbell, 199. Triple H did say Cody was going to be on the Palooza show. He's going to work Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, I mean, that's very obvious, and I think that opens. I think WWE is going to be very smart with who they select to open. Who's the first person you see out of the gate on ESPN? Bang, Cody Rhodes.
Not a bad choice. Not a bad choice at all. Akiva, $2. Have you heard from WWE people about not covering them? No.
WWE people not covering them?
So I took a pretty. So I had a lot of things to say about them bringing back Brock Lesnar, Drew.
Oh,
and I was very, very upset about it, and it's the main reason why I stopped doing Raw reviews and stopped doing shows centered around WWE's like television content. And my whole thing was just, listen, man, it is what it is, and people can do what they want to do with their time and their platform. But for me, I was just like, look, man, I can't keep doing these things where I rant about the morality of how they proceed with their business, and then go. But anyway, next on Raw, blah 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 blah. You know what I mean? So it just felt weird personally. So I was like, you know what, man? I'm doing generic wrestling streams if I have to. And if they come up, they come up. And obviously, like, it's the biggest company. It's kind of like inescapable when you're doing this type of streaming thing to be aware of what happens and like talk about them. However, that doesn't mean I have to devote all my time to just doing reviews of their pay-per-views and televisions. So I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, and here's what I'll say on that. It's your own personal feelings, opinions, so you're entitled to that, and you could do whatever you damn well please. For me, wrestling is escape from reality, and I don't own the company. I don't make the decisions either for WWE or AEW. So whatever they're going to do is whatever they're going to do. So I am not going to sit here and lose sleep or get overly angry or get overly excited over things that I have no control over. So that's just me.
Well, yeah, and that's why, like, I don't. When I did what I did and when I took the stance I took, I tried personally to not be one of those guys that goes like, if you choose to do this, you're a piece of shit. I don't give a fuck, man. Like, people can do whatever they want with their lives. I know for me personally though, it didn't feel right to be the guy to kind of like raise his fist and be like, why the fuck would you bring this guy back? And then go, but anyway, next on Raw. It just felt like it felt reductive personally because it started to happen with me. I'd be like, man, I can't believe they did this on their show. I can't believe they're working with these people. I can't believe that. But then I'd review Raw, So that's kind of why I went where I went. But I didn't. What I didn't want to do was be one of those people like staring at the timeline going, look at all you live tweeting SmackDown. It's like I don't like I'm not the fucking police. Like people can do whatever the fuck they want with their time and how they choose to experience their escapism. So
Yep.
that's kind of how I see it and how I proceed with that. Andrew Brown, $2. What are Roman's thoughts about Mania 40? I mean,
let me give Roman a buzz real quick. I don't know. Like what?
Yeah, right. No, I mean, well, what I do know is that following it, he was talking to people as if he was winding down, but I think he's changed his mind on that. I don't think he's retiring soon, and for some weird, for whatever reason, that was kind of like the vibe last year. Was I'm going to wind this thing down, but that's not the sentiment anymore. Go ahead, take care of this one. Oh no, I got it. Black Yakuza 94. Cody Roman are a legit shonen rivalry type shit. That's pretty beast. Listen, man, wrestling is best when the two top guys like have a legitimate competitive rivalry, in my opinion.
I have no idea what a shonen rivalry type shit is. So okay,
shonen is a genre of anime and manga, and yeah, and it's just a genre. It's a genre, but
yeah.
All
right. Okay.
Listen, I guess the sports equivalent here would be like Bird and Magic or something.
Yeah, and I think that is okay. Then yes, I love the comparison.
Absolutely. Thank you, Black Yakuza. Will Chisholm $5. So if they did Rock and Roman at Mania, was it true that Rock was going to take the title from Roxanne?
What? I can tell you that last year's Mania was the best shot you had of having Rock and Roman, and it just didn't happen.
Yep.
And Rock is not, and it was talked about heavily. Mm-hmm. But I just don't believe you're going to see that anytime soon. The Rock is getting he is getting so many good reviews for his smashing machine. And now he's got the Scorsese stuff coming up. Rock's going to be a very busy man. And if he is making a resurgence in Hollywood, WWE is going to be in the afterthought in terms of a wrestling match, unfortunately.
Yep. Ryan G. See, man, you guys have been killing it with the super chats. $5 Canadian with the earlier talk of Women's Wrestler of the Year. Monet Riho versus Riho and Io Valkyrie happening on the same day gives off Game 7 vibes. What's the full rating for each match? I think both matches are going to be baseline good and both have the potential to be excellent. I think Io Valkyrie has a higher ceiling than Riho, and you know what? I won't even put that on because you never know. Look, both matches are going to be good with the potential of being fucking tremendous. So we'll see which one ends up being the best.
I think it's interesting too, Ibu, that everyone was very quick to Monet versus Riho's like that's going to counteract AJ Lee's return with Becky, and it's like, nope, that's not why that match was made. If there was ever going to be a comparison of this versus that in terms of matches, it is what Ryan G put in here. So I think it's a good super chat. Monet versus Riho is your equivalent of going head to head with Io and Valkyrie, not AJ Lee and Becky Lynch.
Sure. And I think both are going to be awesome wrestling matches. Thank you, Ryan. Love Dogs everyone. And does Triple H care about talent pay since he was? I mean, I don't know, man. Like at the end of the day, he's in a position now where he's office. He's office. And so his priority is going to be being office while trying to relate to talent and getting them to, essentially just do the job that they got to do.
Yeah. And you know what's funny about Triple H and a lot of people, critiquing his booking and stuff like that? I don't see anybody talking about how Triple H books the heels. They are extraordinarily booked. Very, very good. And why is that? Because Triple H spent the majority of his career as a heel. He knows how to get heels over. And you're seeing it.
Thank you, Avery. Chi-Town Spurs $5. I don't think moving all out was as big a white flag as some think. People will plan to watch both. How many will watch 10 straight hours of wrestling? I think there's something to that. I think there is something to that.
Ibo, you're going to be watching. I mean, I am. I know you are. But do you think majority of people are going to sit down at 3:00 on a Saturday afternoon and pull up to watch All Out?
I think that the majority of AEW's core audience is going to watch that show.
But don't they want to attract somebody else but the core audience? Don't you want to try and pull in a couple random buys here or there?
I mean, sure, you want to do all those things, but again, Tony made the call that with WrestlePalooza happening at night, he's going to move the show up. And again, I wouldn't have done that, but he chose to do that. Again, I'll say this: I get what you're saying, but seeing as how Forbidden Door performed, I think he's just comfortable with the afternoon thing now, having seen how it performed for All In and Forbidden Door.
I don't hate that they moved it. Just don't move it again. This is fine. I get it. WrestlePalooza's, like I said, stacked to the gills. You want to move this show, fine. But do not get out of your sandbox again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually agree with you on that. Thank you, Chi-Town. Appreciate that. Razor, 999 euros. At some point, my ace and favorite Cody is going to do a face versus face match. If he faces Punk or Roman, Drew and Ibu, who would the crowd choose? I know it's not preferable, but it's the big matches. Roman Cody in a face versus face match would be the ultimate intentionally engineered tribalism from the fan type of thing. You know what I mean? Where like you want the fans to be raucous Team Cody versus Team Roman. You know, kind of like Rock and Cena was back in the day.
Yeah,
I think it'd be split.
I mean, Cody, Roman. I mean, I guess you can consider Roman a face. I don't think Roman. I don't know, the designation in 2025. It's very toe the line. So it would work. Either of those opponents are big money matches.
Yeah, of course. If it happened, I think the fans would just get into both guys. So, thanks, Razor. Gonad Death 2, $4.99. Ospreay, White, Swerve, Cassidy, Kingston, Wardlow, Kenny Danielson injured. Jesus. AEW had no chance of doing good, especially for a 50-40 for 50-40. What? Ibu is delusional.
Before you go on a rant on this guy, because I know you want to, go ahead. But Cassidy and Kingston are on their way back.
Yeah, that's loser mentality. You know, like you can't think like that. You can't just go, oh, well, this guy's out. We don't have a chance. Whip your dick out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
like,
mean, I don't. Oh, wait. I don't listen. Again, I understand why Tony moved this show, but I don't want to continue to do this going forward. Short term, sure. Capture your pay-per-view buys, count your shekels, move on. But if you're going to do this time and time again, WWE's just going to look at you as their little bitch. And you don't want to be the little bitch.
No. And you're not a little bitch. So stop acting like one. Not that this is them overtly acting like one, but it will be if this becomes a pattern, you know, which I'd imagine it's not, and I hope it's not. So there you go. Thank you, Gonad Death. I'm not delusional. Subconda Choco 35 Czar. I think the storytelling and characterization on Raw in the last few weeks has gotten a lot better. I like Braun loves Heyman. Great device for later on. Yeah, listen, man. You know, good stuff. I like Braun Breaker. I'm a big fan. Heyman being off TV is by design. Like they straight up like that's by design. It's to help take these guys to the next stage and where they're supposed to be at in the story. So all that type of stuff is all by design. And when it comes to the women, there's a certain writer from the SmackDown team that they moved over to Raw to focus on them, and that's kind of why people have been really into the EO stuff. So there you go. Thank you, Samganda. Papaya King 55, $5. Hechicero announced that he's a dual contract luchador with AEW and CML. What other wrestlers do you think deserve to have dual contracts? Deserve is a weird thing. I mean, I think all the talent should try to get paid and, you know, deserve to get big money. But I'd imagine some other guys are probably going to get that soon if they haven't already. You're probably going to see Mystico get some type of dual deal and a couple other wrestlers. I'd like Mascara Dorada to probably get one of those types of things. But those are the ones that come to mind if you ask me off the top of my head. Soberano Jr., who's a great heel for CMLL. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think this is one of the major things that WWE adapted from AEW that was not the norm. WWE is allowing talent because they work hand in hand with them to work in TNA and AAA. Now they own 51% of AAA, but again, TNA, quote unquote, they are under the WWE umbrella. So the dual contract stuff was always and it wasn't a dual contract, but it was always the attractive, you know, kind of like offer from AEW. Hey, you can work here, but if you want to go work in Japan, you want to go work in CMLL, you want to work in AAA before all this shit happened with WWE and all this other stuff, you can just run it through us first, and 9 times out of 10 we'll approve it. So the dual contract stuff, I think, goes without, it doesn't need to be stated. If CMLL calls Tony Khan and says, hey, we've seen it with MJF, or can I get Danielson, which I have a question for you in a minute on, or Darby? It's all going to be either approved or denied by Tony in terms of what the usage is. And again, Tony has said yes more than he said no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And we'll see how this progresses and evolves. If you're a CMLL fan, if you're a non-WWE fan, you should be excited to know that WWE, even though it seemed like it was going to go this way, right now they're not going to be targeting CMLL wrestlers to add to AAA. They're going to be looking more towards the independent wrestlers of Mexico. So if you're a fan of CMLL and the preservation of their top talent, that's a big win. That's a gigantic win. And hopefully it stays that way. And they don't change their mind and go, actually, you know what, Moscow Dorado is fucking tremendous. We should give him like $300,000. So we'll see how it evolves. But yeah, man, it's cool that in the converse, so to speak, when he takes a wrestler, for the most part, he kind of allows you to still kind of like do stuff with your home promotion. Takeshita, he's technically still credited as a DDT guy. He doesn't really work DDT anymore. He does do New Japan, and that's pretty cool to see, and it helps them a bit. But yeah, man, I think it's cool that wrestlers can just kind of go to different places at the same time. It shouldn't be a big deal. Gonad Death 499. Y'all don't remember Tyson at Double or Nothing? Snoop, wrestling fans, yes, AEW fans love seeing celebrities involved in pay-per-views. Bro, fuck me, dude. It's it's not this. Number one, it's not the same thing. Number two, yeah, like AEW fans pop for that, but that's not what they're like trying to see, bro. Like what are we talking about here?
If they want to appeal to the mainstream, that's why they'll do it. Tyson, Snoop, some other involvements. WWE is very good at the cross promotion stuff. I understand, but again,
that shit is so overrated, though, bro. I
mean, if you're on ESPN or if you're on MSNBC or you're on, I don't know, CNN or you're on whatever, the cross promotional stuff. Tony was on Fox News a couple times. So I mean, I don't know. I think it's not overrated in terms of exposure, but you're talking about the audience. Does AEW's core audience care about it? Probably not.
That's what I'm saying. And it's just like, he's saying this type of like dismissive, like, hey man, well, Mike Tyson or bro, first of all, that was like 4 years ago, number one. And number two, again, we all get this like it's a spectacle and it's this and that, and you're trying to have a variety show. But most WWE fans, if you ask them, if they're sitting through a fucking WWE PLE, right, and you're getting the celebrity row, we're seeing fucking Flo Rida or whoever the fuck waving at the camera, right? I guarantee you 9 out of those 10 guys, if you ask them, hey man, would you rather just get to the next fucking match? They say yes, they fucking would. It's almost like a thing they accept rather than like they're actively asking and wanting for, So like, please spare me, please. And this is not me saying like celebrity. Like, again, Bad Bunny was awesome. You know what I'm saying? And Mr. T was pivotal for Mania 1. And so many examples in history. But I don't need my wrestling show because wrestling has this thing where like they want to show that they're legitimate and acceptable to normal people, and their way of doing that is like, oh well, look, we have Snoop Dogg at our show, and it's like I think you'd be better served just kind of like showcasing what makes wrestling so cool to somebody who doesn't get it. And the way you do that is like, man, just look at Rhea Ripley. Look at how cool this lady is. Look at how much ass she kicks. You know what I mean? Look at Roman Reigns. Just take it all in. Look at all of that. Like to me, that's a better sales pitch of pro wrestling than, well, Snoop Dogg likes it, Jelly Roll likes it. It's like, that's cool, but why should I like it? And again, I think sometimes wrestling has a disconnect with like celebrities don't connect with the common person, Drew. They really don't. The common person doesn't see a celebrity and go, oh, so a celebrity thinks this is cool and endorses it? Guess I gotta like it. No. Show me why I should like it. What's so great about pro wrestling? Snoop likes it. That's cool. Why should I like it? That's why I hated the Netflix premiere, because it was like, it didn't showcase what brought WWE to the dance. 2023 was a great year for WWE, and 2024 was almost as good. And it didn't showcase what made those TVs strong. It was the characters, it was the storylines, it was how over some of these top names were. It was the great angles, with some of these characters. And it's like, instead of showing that, it was just a bunch of fireworks and celebrity shots. It's like, okay, that's cool, but what's so great about wrestling? It seems like it's just like fake fighting and pyro with celebrities, So that's just kind of my stance on that whole thing. One and only 199. My God, Ibu, how do we save Julia? Well, first, for starters, you get her off SmackDown.
I mean, I think that's pretty cut and dry. That's
it.
Yeah,
you just get her off SmackDown.
Yeah.
Point blank period. Clan, €5. Thoughts on the Io Rhea Kabuki story? I think it's been really strong. What do you think we get the Rio Kabuki tag? I spoke a bit about this. Look, I'm not watching the show super closely, but look, it's really cool that these wrestlers are finally given the latitude and the space to kind of like be personalities and tell stories on the show rather than just being interchangeable wrestlers. I think everybody involved is super duper talented. I think Io Sky is the best women's wrestler in the world. And I'd expect the tag, in a couple months is kind of what I would say on that. What are your thoughts on this angle, Drew?
As long as they get television time, meaningful television time, and the crowd digs it, I'm here for it. Again, I think a lot of people continuously put out or portray things that they want, and when it doesn't happen, they get angry, and that's just not how you should watch wrestling, in my opinion. You can watch it however you want, but for me, if the ladies or even the men, Oscar, Rhea, whomever, are on television, that's a plus, because at least we're being able to see them work, and hopefully it's in a meaningful storyline.
Absolutely. Razor, €4.99. Was there ever scenarios of TK putting the title on Ospreay? Good Lord, AJ Lee's over. Which WWE and AEW babyfaces have gotten more or less over?
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Razor, if you're gonna ask 3 questions, you better put a little bit more than €4.99. That's one question.
My man said, I'm gonna fit all these characters in.
Hey, smart man.
Yeah, look, Tony considered having Ospreay beat Hangman Page and getting the match against Jon Moxley. He opted to go not with that. And the belief coming out of that was Ospreay's time is Wembley next year. Now, how is that going to be affected by the neck injury? Who knows? But hopefully he can still make Wembley. AJ Lee is over. Which WWE babyfaces have gotten more or less over in AEW? Okay. Less over, Jacob Fatu. Probably Tiffany. I'd say most baby faces have gotten less over on Friday Night SmackDown, pretty much. Most major ones. Whether that's Damian Priest or Jacob Fatu or Tiffany Stratton. Moreover, on the babyface side, I'm not totally sure. In AEW, Brody King for sure. Brody King's gotten really over this year, so I think he'd be my big pick here.
Yeah, for me, I mean, people are probably going to scoff at this. On the SmackDown side, like my litmus test sometimes is my kid, because he's 9, and I'm like, okay, if that resonates. The Motor City Machine Guns had a lot of hype and a lot of television time and everything else, and I kind of feel like they have fallen off.
For sure.
And there's not much for them. For the Raw side, I'm just going to simply go with a layup right now, because she's doing things now that have gotten our attention and everything else like that, but it's a tie between Bayley, and I'm going to go Natalya, because Natty's hype is outside of WWE's main roster television, which is interesting. Bring that character to Raw. That's just me.
Yeah, for sure. I'd add Lyra. I think Lyra probably has gotten more over the course of the year just from her work. So
AEW's a layup. It's Brody. There's no doubt about it. He's gotten so much
Brody
over.
King has gotten really over this year. Really over. Thank you, Razor. Razor 1999. Oh, my man Razor's on it too. I feel bad for Cody. Besides Drew and Randy, there's no big feud on SmackDown. Raw has depth on faces and heels. If Randy turns, they don't even have a number 2 megastar face. What big feuds are left for Cody post Randy? It's really just Drew, which is why I actually think Cody should put Drew over in his first match. I think he should realize that, you know what, it's an investment. I don't have guys to work with. And if I lose to Drew here, I can draw money with him on return matches. So I'd actually have him lose to Drew and chase him, do a trilogy to close the rest of the year. You buy yourself, 4 months of television with that, and you have some great matches. And again, you lose the first one to Drew to give him the main event credibility that he needs to justify this thing going as long as it's going to go. That's what I would do. It's an investment to work with the one top-tier heel guy on the roster.
Razor, thank you for the donation again, as I was kind of giving you a little bit of shit for your 3 questions before that. So
he said his gangster was tested. He's like, all right, man. All right. 1999.
Yeah, so we appreciate that.
Is that it for the super test, Monty? No. MP Juck, €2. Man, these guys are on it. Great how dynamic and charismatic AJ Lee is. She's a charming lady who's given the space to act like herself. And
Yeah,
I
and
think
for
that
me, it's always got it. It's great. The hype is real. We've all wanted to see it. She's back. I want to see how she is booked purposefully in the next 6 months.
and that's totally fair. That's totally fair. Thank you, MP Juck. Mass fan 8419. Who the first woman doing a fork spot in AEW? Ooh. That feels like some shit that either Athena would do or Tony Storm or one of those ladies that are just fucking out of their fucking minds
Not
and
going to be
willing to
Luka
do that.
Doncic. Sorry, Mavs fan 84.
What is that?
It's not going to be Luka. Sorry, Mavs fan 84.
Yeah, right. No, it will not. It will not be Luka Doncic.
You know, the fork spot, I think it was wild the first time. Just like the first time I saw like Glass or whatever else, the first time Flaming Tables, but I wouldn't overuse it, man. I really wouldn't.
I wouldn't either, but there would be a novelty to the women doing it at least one time, is what I would say. I'm over blood guts, but I do want the ladies to do it once, and then I can go years of my life without seeing it again. Basically,
that was a big topic. Like, when are the ladies going to get blood and guts?
Yeah. And there's War Games matches I've loved. I just rewatched 92 the other day, and it's a great match. I don't need to see it again, but again, if AEW would do it with the women, I could see Willow Nightingale kicking ass, then I'll absolutely have time for that. But once I see that, you can like retire it for like years, and that'd be totally fine. So that's my stance on that. Angel Lucia, $5 Canadian. What do you guys think we're getting at WrestlePalooza? Cody Drew or Cody Drew and Randy? Seems to be keeping Cody Randy apart from me. I think it's Cody and Drew.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Yeah. Hush 199. Dwayne ever coming back, especially now with ESPN? Probably for some type of weird, vague cameo that doesn't need anything.
He'll promote his movies and then ski-daddle.
Correct. Razor 499, watching Unreal. WWE didn't seem to have faith in Jey Uso as a top main event face on Raw. Who internally, besides GOAT Cody, do they see as the top faces in order? I mean, it's not a. Let me let you guys in on something. When it comes to these types of questions, it's not like some hidden secret or some Da Vinci Code you have to solve. Watch the show, you know who they believe in. Point blank, period. I remember people were like, man, it's like some hidden, like, special secret, like, incoming push for Carmelo Hayes. It's like, how they feel about these wrestlers is how they're used. It's really, really, really straightforward and transparent. So who are the things that they believe in? What's up?
Yeah, I'll tell you this. He's not a face, but somebody they believe heavily in, and I could easily see getting a world championship run is Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, we'll see. But again, how they feel about these guys is very apparent by just how they're used on the show and how they're positioned. That's the bottom line. It's the same way that it's very obvious Braun Breaker is being positioned to be a main event top guy. It's like patently obvious. It's very much blatant. So there's no hidden. It's not like I'm gonna have some like secret list of you guys. And I'm like, actually, it's Ludwig Kaiser. You know what I mean? Like that's not.
WWE internally loves this guy and that guy. I don't think those lists exist. I think they're probably in meetings, and that's it. I mean, the question they didn't seem to have faith in Jay as a top main face on Raw. I think that's all part of the show. But you could also see now he's been regulated to a kind of the nostalgia act of the Usos for the first big show on ESPN. So is there some smoke to this fire? Maybe. I mean, when Triple H's buddies go on the air and say, brother looks blown up before he even hits the ring, that doesn't bode well for him.
Yeah, look, I'll put it to you this way. They are aware of the equity and popularity of Jey Uso, and so they use that and harness that. And Hunter is aware of that while also personally not thinking he's got the stuff between the ropes to be like a long-term champion. And I think that's okay. It's okay to have guys like that are not Cody necessarily, but they're popular, they're over, they can buy you hours of TV time, and you can use them. They're useful guys, and that's what Jey is. Jey Uso, Jey Uso's not Chad Gable. Jey Uso's not whoever else you want to name that's a terrific worker, and that's all right. You can still use what he has, as a skill and as an asset to still help the product. So there you go. And they're aware of that.
Wait and see what the Usos come out to at WrestlePalooza. If it's Jey Uso's music, that's all you need to know. They're still going to want you to yeet, buy the merchandise, and have that pop when his music hits.
Absolutely. Dougie, $2. Any chance Dragon Lee jumps to AEW with his brothers? Yeah, there's any chance of anything. We'll see what they end up doing. But
Wait.
what's
Hold
up?
on. What was the situation with FTR and the tag straps? Was Dragon Lee a part of that?
Yes.
Yeah, fuck right on. That ain't happening. Okay.
You know,
There's one F-bomb from me. That ain't happening.
So you think Tony's gonna hold that against them?
Yes, sir.
Wow. That's interesting.
You can't do that in business.
You don't, but I think I could see Tony being like, that's ultimately wasn't his call. It was people above him. He was just a pawn. I like him as a talent. I'll let
get
it
it,
slide.
but if I come on here and MF everybody in the business, you're guilty by association. Same thing goes for you. I mean, I'm sorry, but he was a part of that whole thing. I don't see it happening. I don't.
Mm-hmm. No, I hear you. All right, we got. Thank you, Dougie. Black Yakuza 94, $5. Who made the call to hoard all the top heels on Raw and leave SmackDown with nothing, Ibu? I have no clue. But there's clearly a lack of creative effort on the Friday TV. And I'm starting to suspect maybe it's because they just don't really respect NBC Universal. Natalie H, €5. When Jacob turns face, he'll be the biggest star in the company, Ibu, early this year. Well, I mean, don't get me started.
You don't have to defend this. Stop that. I mean, first of all, name another talent on WWE's television that has gotten more organically over in the last 12 months. Natalie, there's none.
Well, beyond that, the guy was white hot, and they put him in a never-ending storyline with like the worst iteration of the bloodline, and then had him losing repeatedly to Solo Sikoa. Okay, that's gonna cool off anybody. So my call and my instincts on him being like big time were very much founded. It's on them that they just fucking pissed on it, and it's gonna be up to Jacob to rebuild now. It almost like what he's been dealing with the last few months, but there you go.
Look at LA Knight. I mean, LA Knight's been doing really good business, but I mean, he's not the biggest star in the company.
Drew, LA Knight was in the MFT Vortex, and he looked fucked. He got out of that. He's on Raw, and he's playing like Rock on Raw. So it sounds like a change of scenery is needed.
Yep.
Or maybe the Friday TV should just be detonated. So there you go. Jesus fucking Christ. Love Dogs Avery, $1.99. Triple H talking about his vacation was funny. I didn't see any of this.
He said, here, I'll fill you in. He said, whoever took that picture of myself and my family on that, the yacht that we were at in Greece, the person had to have a Canon for a camera because they were a mile out in sea. So he was pissed about it. And I would be too. That's an invasion of privacy, number one. I get it. You're a celebrity, but sometimes these people need to have some common sense. Leave the man and his wife alone. And if my kids are there, man, that's just, come on. Like you got to give us some personal space here. Yeah. What do you need? What do you need pictures of me and my family on vacation for in our swimsuits? Like, go get a life.
It always pops me when people are like saying a super chats about things that are like coming out as I'm on air. Like how am I supposed to know about the thing I said when I'm on air? But I totally agree with you, man. Leave people alone. Razor $4.99 again. The real reason I want Punk versus Cody for this year's Mania is it reminds me of Punk Cena 2011. Triple H has teased a lot this year in 2024. I think it happens, Razor. I think it happens. The question is Punk going to turn? And I think if it was up to Punk, he would turn.
Razor, you shut me up. That's all I got to say. Thanks for the donations.
Razor said, all right, guys, I got y'all.
There you go.
Is that it? Are we done? No, we're not. Razor, €9.99. He said, fuck you guys. I'm keeping you on air, and I'm going to keep paying you to be on air. So, okay, cool. Cody brings the best out of CM Punk on promos. I see the AEW Punk come out, vice versa. If not Punk, Cody. Roman Cody 3 is freaking huge. My friends and I are going to Vegas. They want either two. Well, Razor, I hope you have a great time in Vegas. I know I've had a great time with Drew Baydala on this show, and it's been good audio, and hope you guys have been enjoying the show. I think you guys. I mean, you guys can give us your feedback, but I think Drew's done a great job on his first Wrestle
I
Kingdom.
appreciate that. The super chats have been great. They've really taken over the show, which is always a plus. I was only going to be on here for an hour. We're going on 2. I'm going to continue to stay here as long as Ibu and Wrestle Purists want us to be on the air.
No, we're off the air the second we were done with these super chats. They just kind of, you know what happened? It's like
I know what they're doing.
It's like he said they you know what they sensed this like winding down, and they're like, no, fuck that. They started just throwing them in there.
Let me show you who runs this mug. It's us. Like,
yeah,
I'm keep sending money.
Oh my god, it's like when Costco's closing at 8 and like fucking like hundreds of people are running through it's like,
isn't that the worst?
Yes.
Hey, we're open till 9. You get a phone call at 8:50, and it's like, I'd like to place an order for 4 pizzas and 4 dozen buffalo wings. It's like, well, are you on fucking drugs? We got time for that right now.
Like, what's wrong with you? All right, thank you, Razor, for the super chat. What else we got here? Natalie H, name a star that got more over. You know, Roman. Probably, honestly, Roman. I think Roman has
last year. What do you mean? Roman's been over since WrestleMania, like 30. I don't know, 32. Come on, Natalie. I respect it, but come on.
Here's the thing, though. Now that he's a babyface and he can embrace it, it does feel like it's gotten to another level, to be honest with you.
Oh, she said, all love. I'm always baiting. Thank you for the stream. You're welcome, Natalie.
We appreciate and love you, Natalie. Thank you. What else we got? What else we got? Are we done? Are we finally done? Are we out of here?
199 from Drew Baydala. Ibu, what do you think about Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan, whatever you want to call him, on the commentary team for AEW going forward? Then we'll get the
needed, necessary credibility. It's credibility. He understands what he's watching. He gives context to what you are watching. He's going to enhance what's happening in the ring rather than detracting from it. He's going to take it seriously. He's not going to trivialize a serious moment or a serious angle or a serious happening. And so with respect to the existing team, this was necessary. A change is necessary. I think Shivani should just be a permanent interviewer at this stage of the game. And I think Excalibur long-term should probably be moved to like just video packages and things like that. So that's my opinion on Bryan Danielson as a commentator. We have one last one. Gonad Death 199. Rhea versus Asuka might happen at WrestlePalooza 2. If it does, it's a great addition. We'll see. That'd be great.
Rhea's got to be on that card.
I was gonna say you gotta showcase Rhea Ripley, on your debut for WrestlePalooza. That's your most striking woman star. So, I mean, that seems like the right call. I'd do 6-7 matches on that show and get Rhea Ripley on there. So, I'm right with you, buddy.
You know that. Here comes more. Send them on in.
We got
$5 or more. Otherwise, I'm not answering any more questions. I'm only kidding. I'll take this one for you, Matt. $4.99. Thank you. How long is this NBC deal? Do they potentially pay for an AEW show since they cost less, or does the non-compete prevent that? AEW will not be on NBCU within the next 2 to 3 years. Next question.
Are we done? I think we're done. Terry Hop Gordon, $4.99. Mercedes character feels stale. What could be done to change that? Give her a storyline that allows her to be vulnerable.
I don't agree with this. I think her last 6 months have been great. I thought in the beginning, I was like, man, this stuff stinks. But I think it's been great the last 6 months.
All right. I think that's it. Okay. So it is. Drew, turn your camera on. Monty, give me a Drew solo cam. I got an impromptu idea here. Let's do this.
All right. What's the impromptu vibe? All right. I'm just going to speak. Thank you guys very much for this. This was awesome. My first time on Wrestle Purist. It's always a pleasure to be joined by a different platform or to be asked to do something with a different platform. Normally you won't see these bulky ass headphones, but I decided to just go audio only, but I'm always prepared to do video. Go Jets. Don't get me started on Aaron Rodgers. Thank you to the Wrestle Purist audience. Thank you to Ibu. Thank you to Monty. Thank you to the moderators. Thank you to everybody who donated. Make sure you guys and girls understand that life is precious and there is so much more to life than professional wrestling. Use it as an escape. Enjoy yourselves. Love each other. And thanks for the time.
Phenomenal, folks. Guys, like the video if you haven't. Leave a comment afterwards. I'd love your feedback on this stream. And let us know what you guys thought of Drew's debut. So Drew Baydala for producer Montel WP. Rob, we love you. We're keeping you in our thoughts. Rob, we miss you. We hope to see you back soon. I'm Ibu, and we'll see you guys next time.